Therefore, we find that this investigation is absolutely lopsided. We don't know, we have not seen the papers.
The FIR of 1321 does not hint at any sexual exploitation, sir. And secondly,
please don't proceed on those lines.
Sir,
I'll advise you, don't proceed on those lines.
Sir.
The very tenor of your explanation says that you are not believing the accusation. If that be so, then charge sheet is bad.
No,
Put all your facts within these 4 parameters. I think nobody, not even your own department, would say that you've done a good job.
Sir, we have not.
ये तो बेकार की कहानी है ना कि कानून के हाथ बहुत लंबे हैं और सबके ऊपर है, ये तो कहानी है. Yes, Mr.
Lords, of course, my lords have directed the officer who headed that SIT to be present here with all the police papers. My lords, I have advised the senior superintendent of police also, who had also deeply supervised the case. So
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
Can we have the police papers?
Yeah, please. Yes.
Have you flagged from where you have proceeded on the premise that nobody is to be found?
Sir, not exactly, sir.
Come in front.
Not exactly, sir, but whatever attempts we have done to find out the culprit, sir, we have marked each one of them, sir.
Could you get the names of those persons?
Sir, no, sir. We examined almost 90 females, sir, whose stay had overlapped with that of the victim, sir, and we took all of their statements and got them recorded under 164. And in that, sir,
That you have said.
Sir.
And therefore you have charge sheeted only one person, the superintendent was overall in charge.
Yes, sir. The one name that kept on emerging was that of Vandana Gupta, and hence that is why, sir.
You don't have to take the name.
Sir, the accused, sir, the superintendent.
Even then.
Sir, sorry, sir. So, so on the basis of that only, sir, we charge sheeted her because the victim statement, sir, that only found corroboration in statement of 3 other residents of the Gaiga shelter.
See, why we are skeptical about the investigation having been conducted properly. We are not passing any comment. This is just the tentative opinion of the court. Don't get disheartened, both of you. Now we find that it was a very, very big offence, gender-related offence, especially against hapless women who are lodged in that aftercare home or whatever. Mr. Advocate General, please take this. Now, the person who gave the interview, which actually kick-start all this debate, she's not the only person who is the victim, right? So there would be many others. How many of them have been interviewed by you, interrogated by you? What information did you cull out? And did you ask for any did you put the superintendent to a special interrogatories? But we don't get satisfied. The occurrence has taken place in the capital, under the nose of the High Court, and up till now you have been able to point towards any finger towards only one.
Sir,
And to tell you a fact, she being a lady, we find that she could only have been a facilitator. That's right. So she has facilitated whom? So therefore we find that this investigation is absolutely lopsided. We don't know, we have not seen the papers.
Sir.
You do one thing.
Sir.
You have submitted the charge sheet?
Yes, sir. So there are 2 FIRs and 1 charge sheet has been submitted, so 17 criminal.
Yes, sir. You give 2 copies. One, we can always have a copy. We can give a copy. We will go through this. We find that there is something lacking in your effort. Not yours. Investigating agencies.
Sir, if I may just elucidate everything that we have done so far, sir. So we took the.
Are you satisfied?
Sir,
with this kind of allegation, with this large spectrum of the victims, are you satisfied that only one person you could lay your hands upon? We are not asking you to frame others who are not there.
Sir.
We are not asking you to do that.
Sir.
We are even not asking you to expand the scope of investigation.
Sir.
Not at all. But if you as an investigator, as the head of the investigating team, 8-member team, if you are satisfied that all this happened only because of the facilitator and nobody could get any access to the home and could meet the girls, then I don't think we are on the same page.
Sir, so far what we've done to get to those culprits, sir, if at all something like this had happened. So we took the FSL team to examine the entire premises.
Why I'm cutting you short? Now these processes are known.
Sir.
You will have FSL report. You will ask for, you will take a person, you will request for custodial remand and whatever.
Sir.
We know that process.
Sir.
We are only asking you about your satisfaction that this kind of an occurrence has taken place and this is not a new one.
Sir.
And you could not, you don't have a clue who were part of it. Just that.
Sir, whatever processes we had followed, we did everything, sir. In fact, sir, our sole basis of everything that has happened so far are the statements of those two victims, sir. Now, one of these victims, sir, gets released from aftercare home, sir. The victim of FIR 1322, sir. She gets released from the aftercare home on 5/8/2021. And after 1.5 years, sir, she alleges these complaints, and the FIR of 1321 does not hint at any sexual exploitation. Sir. And secondly,
please don't proceed on those lines.
Sir.
I'll advise you, don't proceed on those lines.
Sir.
The very tenor of your explanation says that you're not believing the accusation. If that be so, then the charge sheet is bad.
No, sir, absolutely not, sir.
So therefore, don't say that.
Sir.
If you find the accusation to be correct, what have you done to extend your arms to reach those culprits? Now, if you say that the statement is made after 1 year, that means you can.
Sir.
There could be tutored statements. I don't say that it cannot be.
Sir.
But these are two different strands in the investigation.
Sir.
Should you find the accusation made by the women to be bad, to be not acceptable, that's one stand. If you say this, that there was considerable time lag when the matter was reported and when they were subjected to such misdemeanor.
Sir, actually, sir, because of that, the statements are vague, sir. And even when, sir, not just that, we tried reaching out to girls of shelter home who were released from the shelter home at that point in time, sir. And, sir, from time to time, inspections had been carried out at the shelter home. And we have got a report of all those inspection notes also, sir.
Satisfy us. We will have to go through.
With the permission of the court, sir?
Yes.
Very good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have personally supervised this case from the very beginning, sir. All the supervision notes were issued by me, sir. The accusations that came, sir, upon the basis of that, the affairs were registered, sir. Then, in order to enhance the scope of the investigation, and in order to check out whether this thing was taking place on large scale or not, sir, we had identified all the inmates of the aftercare home, sir. A total of 97 of them were identified. Some of them whom used to live at the time when both the victims. Yes. So we specifically requested the Honorable District Judge Patna to provide us with judicial magistrates, sir. He was kind enough. All the lady judicial magistrates were deputed, sir. They went to the aftercare home, and in environment of complete neutrality, in the absence of all the police officers or in the absence of the superintendent, and all the 164 statements were recorded, sir. Then all the corroborative evidence in the form of FSL, sir, everything was done. So throughout the investigation, sir, we got only 7 adversarial 164 statements against the culprit, sir. Incriminating, sir. Out of that, only 5 alleged physical assault or the bad quality of the food, and only 2 of the inmates. One of them alleged sexual exploitation of her along with 3 other girls by 4 unknown elderly people, sir. And one of them just gave a general statement. She was deaf and mute, sir. We arranged a translator. We requested the subdivisional magistrate. Translator was arranged, and that statement was recorded in English, sir. So so we have only 2 adversarial statements, and that only 164 statements citing sexual exploitation, sir. So one of the girl, the victim.
Adversarial state. I'm just checking you here.
Sir.
Adversary means the other side.
Yes.
Incriminating.
Incriminating, sir. So statement, sir, she alleged that she, along with 3 other inmates, she used to be smuggled out of the aftercare home, and
Yes.
3 to 4 elderly people used to
This is a
exploit.
statement of hers that
Yes.
caught our attention as members of the
Yes, yes.
committee.
Sir. But at the same time, sir, because we had taken the statement of all the possible inmates who were present at that point of time, sir, none of the other inmate alleged and corroborated this statement, sir. Then again, sir, we have recorded that in diary also in order to corroborate her allegations. The victim who had given the incriminating statement, we asked her about the identity of the people and if she had any clue about it. She was not able to come with any clue. In fact, one point of time, she even didn't want to corroborate her statement after recording the 164 statement, sir. So even CCTV footage, sir, the forensic examination of the place, it was very
And when was
comprehensive.
the CCTV sealed? When was it taken in possession?
When the case was taken over by SIT, sir, but that is the fact that only 7 days CCTV footage is available as
Any report about the footage having been tampered with?
no, sir, no such report, sir.
Did you put it to such test? Did you have it? Did you have a certificate of the expert?
65 Indian Evidence Act certificate was taken from
No.
the
Did you have a certificate of an expert that it has not been tampered with? It's all intact.
We just took the
See, you
65
could
days.
take possession of the. I mean, SIT could take possession of it only after 7-8 days.
Yes, sir.
When the matter had flashed in the newspapers.
Yes, sir.
Right? The superintendent had not been removed.
Yes, sir. She
All
was
other
not-
functionaries were there.
Sir.
So 7 days, did you, is there any statement in your investigation paper that the CCTV footage was intact, inviolate? It has not been tampered with?
65 billion. That is only the standard language that we have in 65 Indian Evidence Act. That
That's
it was
with
my
respect to
custody.
the evidence which you collect.
Yes, sir.
And to be admissible, you need to follow
Sir.
65B.
Yes,
We are
sir,
on
yes.
a different issue altogether.
Yes, sir.
Right? So we have serious doubts
Sir.
that if you base your information and investigation only on the CCTV footage,
Sir.
perhaps you are being misled.
So the matter of the fact is that because it was only 7 days of CCTV footage, so the incidents which was alleged, we do not have CCTV footage of that.
That's right.
time.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you can't.
Because only 7 days backing is available.
Look here, you can't parry the question of the bench. You have understood it. You have been an investigator.
Sir.
You're a police officer.
Sir.
You know about investigation better than the court.
Yes, sir.
We can only find faults. But don't parry this question. Now, the first thing an investigator does is he takes control of the CCTV.
Sir.
And the second thing he does is to see whether it has been kept intact or it has been tampered with.
Sir.
This is how the investigation proceeds in these kinds of cases. Otherwise, what is the purpose of keeping CCTV? I mean, there is no surveillance then. So you take control of it after 7 days.
Sir.
Not that you had swung into action without the victims and without the perpetrators of the crime being in know of it. It was all in newspapers. So I think the first step of the SIT would have been the correct step to see whether the CCTV footage is intact. It has not been deleted. It has not been tampered with. Is there a certificate? This is not 65B certificate.
Sir.
No, you have not done. You have not applied your mind to it.
Sir.
You have not applied to your mind. I mean, what we are. I mean,
Yes,
I think
sir.
both of you are understanding what the
Yes,
court
sir,
is
yes,
trying to hint. Now, if you say that now this statement is not coming from the victim and this is a delayed statement, so far so good. These offences will keep on happening. I mean, you're not only an investigator. All of us are part of the citizenry of this country. I mean, I get pained. I don't know why you are so stoic about it.
Besides this, sir, we have completed the mobile forensics, sir, of all the available data that was there, sir. The whole forensic team examined
You
the whole of
expect
the
any medical test for all that?
Sir.
Now, if something happened, say 15 days ago,
Sir.
the girl musters up the courage to speak after say 30 days.
Sir.
And the matter has been taken cognizance of in the loose sense of the term, that you have investigated the matter.
Yes.
Would you be only looking for medical evidence?
No, sir, we have done other
Unless
things
there
also.
is unless there is some physical onslaught immediately preceding the report.
Yes, sir.
You will not be looking for the medical evidence only.
So we have taken other scientific evidence on record also, sir. Like we had a 400-page forensic examination report of the
It could be 1,000 pages if it doesn't satisfy the conscience, if it doesn't satisfy the reader, what worth it is of.
and whole of the the forensics, mobile forensics.
How many people did you interrogate?
So we interrogated all the staff, the
How many
paramedical
people?
staff.
Give us the number of heads.
Numbers plus all the security guards also. Sir.
Security guards also, sir. 90 people was 160 was taken. Apart from that, 40 plus 20 plus the guards.
And all of them feigned ignorance. They said it's all right. We didn't see anything.
Sir.
That's exactly it.
So throughout investigation, we had only 164 incriminating statements. 164 statements. And
we can't even tell you to. Manufacture. Nobody can tell you to manufacture evidence.
Sir.
But they are not satisfied. We'll see the entire investigation papers. They are not satisfied. And you have been able to charge sheet only one, a female, a superintendent.
So the one who could have been the
And how did she facilitate?
Sir, according to the statements of the victim, sir, it was said that she is the one who took share of the money of the wrongdoing.
From whom?
That happened. From the exploiters.
Who are those? You
Sir,
couldn't
we
get
tried
their names.
ascertaining. No, sir, we did not get names out of it.
Who will accept this report as correct? I don't think the Chief Judicial Magistrate, of whatever ilk he is, he will accept this report. You may be satisfied. Who can be satisfied that you have found that the superintendent was facilitating the entry of predators who masqueraded as relatives, and then the women were sedated and they were raped?
So we took the help of counselors also, sir. The professional counselors, they were also taken to the scene so that
Not even one. This is surprising. Not even one. Well, if you are satisfied, we'll look at the papers and we'll give you directions. But we are not satisfied at the moment. How could this be? How could this be? Then perhaps your accusation against the superintendent also is bad.
So that we have mentioned in the memo of
And not that
evidence.
people from overseas were facilitated in entering the home. Must have been people from around.
We exhausted the all manual and technical input that we could at that point.
We have submitted
No, we
the
are not
complete
recording anything.
evidence.
We will not say that this report is very, very perfunctory, though it may run in 500 or 600 pages, but we are not satisfied. We will record that only one person who has been found worth trying is the superintendent, who is a lady. Her role is only that of a facilitator. Think of it. Just think of it, and the response should come from you.
So we had also examined the bank accounts, all the possible
Are
transactions
you
that could have.
inclined to go for a further investigation?
In case some relevant facts come up, definitely sir, under 173
Let me tell you what
CRPC.
relevant facts are from your reports only.
Sir, sir.
You're not seeing it with a discerning eye. We might end this litigation by saying that this is the report, but we are not thoroughly dissatisfied. If that suits you, it's all right. But then we'll be falling short of our duty as judges.
Sir, we are ready for any further investigation, sir. We have exhausted.
On what lines?
Sir.
Please, if you have exhausted your reserves,
Sir.
it doesn't speak very good of the policing.
Sir.
You tell us, where have you faltered, and in which direction should you proceed now? You tell us.
Sir, just
Instead of us telling you, then we completely reject the veracity of your proper policing and investigation, and we give you our own direction without monitoring the investigation. Unless you come up yourself. I'm just repeating it all over again.
Sir.
Not the first time where shelter home inmates have been violated
Yes, sir.
physically.
Not
It's not the first time. And then the shelter home in question, located at Patna. There were many interviews when the matter was reported. there was some time lag between action and the report.
Sir.
And then you have been able to find one lady superintendent. Now, if you put all your facts within these 4 parameters, I think nobody, not even your own department, would say that you've done a good
Sir,
job.
we have not got the access to the 164 statements, CRP statements of both the victims.
Please,
In that case, sir,
please go
perhaps
through it. Not as investigators.
We were not
as-
allowed to
Not
have
only as
access to it.
investigators, and precisely for this reason you have been nominated as the head. You have that sensitivity with you
Yes, sir.
for your gender.
Yes, sir.
It's not done.
Sir, in fact, sir, just to ensure that the victims are not harassed or anything, sir, we were even ready to take the statement of the 161 statement of the victim wherever she felt comfortable. Sir, and entirely throughout,
That's
sir,
something which is given.
Yes.
Sir,
Can you
exactly,
do
sir.
anything beyond that?
Absolutely not, sir. And exactly that is why, sir, the whole basis, sir, the reason why this case is coming to place is
I have
because-
given you 4 corners. Put your work within that corner and assess yourself.
Sir,
We are not going to say anything for the reason that we don't know whether you have made good efforts. We don't know. If we make that statement, that would be bad. Now you find out yourself where actually you have faltered, and this is no way of policing. This is no way of investigation and policing in the first instance. How did it happen? You have to be the showstopper. I'm sorry, you're not taking it to a logical conclusion. We know our limitations. We are not here to monitor your investigation. The power to investigate is plenary with you, with police. All these nuances of law we all know. Therefore, Mr. Advocate General is not even objecting to it.
Sir, one more-
I'm only asking a question repeatedly. What gives you this satisfaction that you have done your work?
So one more submission, sir, Honorable.
Now, I'll tell you what.
Sir,
You go through the reports,
sir,
find out in what way you could make a headway,
sir.
and in case you require any further investigation, come out with necessary reasons. We will permit you, we will direct, because this is under Article 226 and we have taken suo motu notice of it. But it should come from you. If we tell you anything, you would perhaps clamor that the investigation is being monitored. No, we are not monitoring the investigation.
With the
We
permission
can
of
do that.
courts,
We can do that, but we are not doing it for the moment.
sir. So one last submission, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in order to get more proof, sir, once we came across the 164 CRPC statements, what we did, sir, we did we got all the costing reports, sir, because these
Now, if your
inmates
intention-
are regularly constant also,
That's
sir.
right. If your
And-
intentions were to
Sir.
investigate it properly and take a conclusion, you would not have filed charge sheet straight away. Was she in jail?
No, sir, she was arrested, sir.
She was arrested. Now, this would require 60 days to file charge sheet. She wouldn't have been in jail for 60 days. Where was the hurry? Where was the hurry? Nobody would have questioned you on 67 too. I mean, we get an impression that you have deliberately pulled the curtain down before time.
The scope of further investigation will always be there, sir. Sir, we have
Further investigation, how will you do?
CCTV video also we can get
You must know.
by the FSL.
For the sake of following the precedent, you would seek further permission from the chief. Both the cases have ended in final report. One case is still
1322,
pending.
sir.
Sir, one case went as lack of evidence, sir.
She
did not
didn't
file charge sheet.
corroborate her
That's
statement.
clueless.
No,
Sir,
lack of evidence, sir.
lack of
Sakshi kami, sir. She didn't corroborate her statement, sir.
For how long have you investigated? No,
Sir, I've been the eye of the case since February, sir.
that's right. Mr. Advocate General, we are absolutely convinced. If they say that there is no evidence, we can't fill in the gaps. But we will record that this is absolutely unsatisfactory. And I will just give the 4 corners, the dotted lines, and let any authority put these facts in between that square and say whether they have done a good job. And I'm unhappy. Let them come out. You read the papers again. Apply your investigator's mind. Don't be under any stress of any kind. Now, a guilty is no amount of pressure should deviate you from your duty. Whoever he is, howsoever high he may be. You must, ये तो बेकार की कहानी है ना कि कानून के हाथ बहुत लंबे हैं और सबके ऊपर है, ये तो कहानी है तब तक, ये कहानी है. If we can't remedy the wrongs, if a person comes to the court, what is the use of all these robes? Likewise, what is the use of all your dress and all the paraphernalia and all the hierarchy that you are working in? If you can't investigate a simple case, कोई espionage का तो केस है नहीं है, बहुत लोगों से तो पूछना तो है नहीं इसको.
Let's say, in fact, while interacting with them, let's say,
Let them, sir, the Advocate General, let them come on the next day and tell this court that they have again gone through the investigation because nothing more can be done. Then we shall apply our mind. You make a statement that this is all, nothing beyond, this was the end. Make that statement, then we find out where would you, how would you end. That's not done. If you get hold of all the 164 statements, question them again. ऐसा थोड़ी होगा कि तू फैसिलिटेटर उसको क्यों बना दिया था?
in fact, Lords, I think this is my, because only two of the inmates made that in their statement under 164 about the complicity of the superintendent. I think that is the solitary evidence that is against that
Woman. But it was required to be investigated. Anybody saying anything would not do.
No. But
Then perhaps if that was a wrong statement, that was a knee-jerk reaction of a woman who perhaps was not very well bred.
On that,
Suppose I can understand that these two inmates were not given good things to eat. They were unhappy. They were not allowed to go out by the superintendent. They might have that knee-jerk reaction against the superintendent. Well, she's bad. Now this happens.
Lord,
But then why did you accept that accusation?
Yeah, what has happened, my Lord, is just fine. Lords, those two inmates made the complaints against the lady with respect to the sex, facilitating the sexual harassment as well as with respect to the qualities of foods and now, as the ASP Lord said, one among those two said that altogether three others inmates were also. They interrogated those three completely denied. So far, this bad food and this Lord, that was found to be corroborative, and therefore they have recommended for action to the
department.
department.
See the reports. In the meantime, you also go through the papers and find out.
Department about that food quality and something hanky-panky between the contractor.
Take it into account that this could have been the reason for them to complain. And exaggeration, but then not this way. Here's what you have to say.
They are more than this. Even the guards are saying that visitors used to come because they were accused guests. They never used to make the interest. Those are there in the case diary and the police report. That are all the clues your lordship is saying is almost is here. But it has to be the scope has to be widened.
We are giving you 1 week time. Please sit over the report. Tell us on that you can't do any further. We will close the chapter. We will record our dissatisfaction. We will close the chapter. If that satisfies you about your responsibility as a police officer, go ahead. Go ahead. We will do what we can. Without putting you in any trouble, we will do what we can. We have to rise early today, so we close for today. Give us 2 copies of the entire police papers. Can you do that?
Yes,
Hand it over to the court master. He will, because 2 of us will go through it. Let us do some work. Pursuant to the orders pursuant to the order dated 21/11/2002, the Senior Superintendent of Police Patna and
ASP Sachivan.
Sachivan, sir.
Name?
Kamya Mishra, sir.
And Ms. Kamya Mishra, ASP Sachivalay, who has headed the team of investigators in this case, are present with police papers. We don't write that we are dissatisfied today.
No, right now.
Right now we don't. Police papers. We need to examine the police papers before accepting the end report that no clue could be found about anybody except superintendent of the aftercare home, who has been shown as a facilitator in the final analysis. This court has also this court has interacted with the police officers above named and has asked them to again examine the police papers in order to find some headway in the investigation so that the matter doesn't, so that the matter is not given an indecent quietus. We are at a loss to understand that one person, a female who was the superintendent of the aftercare home, has been charge sheeted for the offences for which the FIR has been lodged. Obviously as a facilitator, then where is the justification of not reaching the culprits who took the help of the facilitator? We are not ready to accept the situation. The head of the investigating team and the senior superintendent of police shall be present on the next day with their suggestions as to how, with the roadmap to further investigation as to how to reach the culprits. We notify which date. Give us you can have a choice of dates. It has to be a Friday. It has to be a Thursday. Next to next week. Do some homework.
30th.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks के बाद क्या होता है?
Today is what day?
24th.
24th. So we keep it on 8th of December. Re-notify on 8th of December at 3 p.m. Alright, thank you, Mr.
Yes.
We are rising ready. Inauguration of paperless court. This would be one of the paperless courts out of the four.
In coming days, we have to be aware.
Now, we will be requesting the learned advocates not to use paper. They can have their own device. We will also be asking our court staff.
What about us?
No.
Who don't know even to move forward?
We will give you a technician. You will be facilitated. There will be a computer placed there.
At this stage, when sitting in the boarding lawn,
लैपटॉप लेकर आना पड़ेगा।
हाँ भाई सर, बस बोल रहे हैं मिलेगा।